Okay, this looks good. Finally. Hey, welcome everybody. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Are we all live? Oh my god, so many people waiting already. I feel very humbled. Welcome, welcome, Jalenko. Oh no, I pronounced your name incorrectly again, didn't I? Jalenko? Okay, I'm here to bring you up to speed with how the development for Will You Snail is going, and then also to finish off the boss fight that we started like 2 weeks ago. If you've missed that, we've been working on the final boss fight for the game, and in this stream, it will be time to finish it off. Jonas, are you planning to join in the community game jam? I'm not sure. I'll join if I'm free. Sounds like an epic project. I'd love to join in, but not sure yet. There's an epic echo. Echo. Like, is that coming from my room, or am I not using the correct mic? Is the sound quality fine? It seems like I'm using the correct microphone. Like, is there anything weird with my sound? I hope not. It's just my room's a little empty, hopefully. Beep! And there's a little bit of echo. Mega, first time watching. Well, thank you for joining in. Let me actually show you a couple of interesting stuff about the Will You Snail development, because we've actually started the playtesting process. I have a little playtesting Discord group with a couple of playtesters. The first version of the game is basically out for a small amount of people, and I use this feedback form here to collect feedback, which gives me some interesting stats. Like, this is very, very useful. And this is accessible directly from within the game. I can show you that if you want. I think it's a very, very cool and streamlined way to handle giving feedback in your game. Very proud. And lol, you're also watching for the first time? Everything fine? Okay, thanks. Thanks for the feedback. Glad to hear that. Okay, for some reason the game takes a while to build, probably because I just saved it under a new name. I do that every once in a while, just to make sure that I don't mess anything up. The later I am in those projects, the more paranoid I am about messing something up. Should we build in a sec? Here we go. See, and then here in game, there's just a give feedback button. And when you hit that, in theory, the feedback form should open up. And as you can see, some of the stuff is even pre-filled, like the version of the game gets auto-filled in by the game. And then you can leave your feedback here, and all of that is collected. No, we don't want to keep that. Bye-bye. Leave this side. Yeah, and then all of the results end up in this epic feedback form right here. And then I can collect all of that feedback and put it into a Trello board where I sort it with priority and how long it will take me to complete those tasks. So basically, those are all of the tasks I've took from the feedback forms that I'll have to complete for the next version. And of course, what we can see here is finishing the final boss fight. That's the one we'll do in this live stream. This is what we'll get done this time. Oh, can switch tabs with these keys as well. I just wanted to change the camera. Here we go. What did I mean to say? I forgot. And they also implemented an analytics tool into Will You Snail, which is just the standard gameanalytics.com, which will probably not be in the final game due to GDPR compliance stuff and so. This will just be in the test version of the game. And what I find really fascinating about this is that this is a super advanced free tool with a ton of features, but it's lacking some of the super basic stuff which really baffles my mind why they didn't put that in there. For example, for some reason, as you can see here, I have a lot of progression data here, how often my levels got started, how often people failed in my levels, how many attempts they had. By the way, that's already quite a massive amount of attempts, 5,000, not bad. But But for some reason, there's no way to sort it after level, so I can't see the win percentage of each level. And then there's also some weird stuff like here, win percentage, the average win percentage on all levels is 2.5%. But here, all of these bars are over 5%, which so that makes no sense that it ends up at 2.5%. I think what's happening here is that it also includes all of these empty bars here. And also, I'm absolutely not interested in having this sorted after time. I would like to have this sorted as a level. However, there's no way to view this sorted by level, so gameanalytics.com team, you have a nice have a nice website, a nice free website. I appreciate it, but unfortunately, for my purposes, it feels completely, utterly useless, because if I want to get the win rate from a specific level, I need to go in here in events. Where do I even need to go for that? Is the tier and filters, progression, and then I should be able to select the correct level. But I have like 80 levels. I'm not gonna go through that for every single level. They're not even sorted alphabetically, which makes things even worse. But in theory, if I want to see the win rate of one level, I can select it here, and then once again I get the win rate sorted by time, which is this is very strange. Okay. So this is more or less what's going on at the moment. Little update, and now that we've got this over with, we can actually start making the boss fight. I make that a little more silent. I'm not sure if the volume balancing is fine for you. Let me check. This volume looks about right. Is this about right for you?
Alright, try to give me a
Here we
challenge,
go.
will you?
I'll just skip ahead to the final boss fight. Show you where we ended off last time. Is the volume fine? Is the game sound fine like this? I hope so. Here we go. That's basically the entire game spoiled for you. Now you've seen all of the levels. Okay, here we go. That's the final boss fight with beautiful placeholder graphics. At the moment, there's no setting for changing the difficulty, which is something I should change real quick, because that's something I've tried in the test build, having the difficulty adjust itself automatically. But let's just turn that to, oh my god, is there actually no way to change this here? Analytics enabled, debug mode enabled. Okay, I think it's a little messier than I anticipated. Give me one sec. Oh, hey, Blackthorn Prod. By the way, next weekend I'll be participating in the Game Maker's Toolkit game jam with Blackthorn Prod. I'm not sure if I'll be streaming, but maybe I will. We'll see. Don't forget to wishlist The Dreadful Whispers by Blackthorn Prod. That's on Steam as well already. Okay. Like where's the variable I'm looking for? I want to be able to adjust the difficulty myself. That should be in objects, managers, object persistent. That's so annoying. My code structure is so bad. I just want to get started. I don't wanna leave you waiting. Blackthorn. Yeah, I can't pronounce anybody's name correctly, apparently. Here, menu, here we go. If global.dynamic difficulty enabled. Like where the hell is that variable? Let me see. Oh, it's right here at the very top. Oh my god, how didn't I see that? I looked in that exact object just a minute ago. Let's turn that to false. And that will allow us to balance this boss a little more carefully. Mega, you think we should work together on another game? Hey, let's see how the game jam goes. Let's wait for that.
I got you.
Okay, you can see I'm absolutely pro at defeating this boss. Actually, this already has a couple of different difficulty settings, like, and also this already has difficulty balancing. This should be the hardest one. Obviously, the easier difficulty settings are way too easy. And this is only the first phase of the boss fight, as we decided earlier. This boss fight will probably have 2 or 3 phases. And then in the second phase, or in the last phase, it will just turn into a giant swirling vortex of glitchy colors and random sprites. And that's the phase we'll code today. I mean, we managed to code this entire boss fight phase last time, so I assume we will probably be able to finish this boss fight off in today's stream.
Got to try harder than this.
Okay. I think I should probably make the game sound a little more silent, right? Is this better? Yeah, this is Game Maker Studio 2. Let me know if the volume's fine like this. Why are you pronouncing Z and not C? C, like C is how you pronounce it correctly, right? It's C. Yeah, that's because I have a bit of a German accent, and I'm trying to remember to pronounce it correctly, but oftentimes it just don't. I hope it's not too horrible to listen to. I'm trying my best to improve that situation. Situation. Oh god, let's not start that up. Let's not start that again. Okay, so that's the first phase of the boss fight. Oh, maybe I should show you how it looks to beat it actually. Oh, why doesn't it close correctly? Yeah, whatever. Volume is good now. Okay. Lower the game volume. Okay. Well, let's try that. I'll just show you real quick how it looks to beat this boss. So you can see what we've got so far. And then I hope the second phase of the boss will be really nice and crazy. Here, after a while, you lose your gun, and then you have to collect a different one. This one here shoots sideways. Hiding from the lasers down here real quick. And getting the last gun. Now we need to shoot the boss from the top real quick. Okay, does that... Only a little bit of HP remaining. That was close. Okay, very nice. Yeah, shut up. Okay. So here's where we'll insert the second phase of the boss fight, which will be the giant vortex. Okay, let's go. Everybody's up to speed. Yeah, this programming language is GML. It's a strange language, honestly, but also quite cool. Okay, here we have our boss fight. Boss, phase 1. Let's duplicate that level. Call it level 12, boss fight phase 2. And I think we'll change the stage around for this quite a bit. Let's get rid of all of the objects we don't need. What do we not need here? that is everything we don't need. And then let's modify the level geometry a little bit. I feel like the scale of this level felt about right for the last one. And what bothered me about this level layout a little bit is that you can only really move at the very edge here. Like there are not a lot of different ways you can go. So like for the second phase of the boss fight, I'd like to give the player a bit more maneuverability and space to move around in. And I think the way to achieve that is probably once again having a boss that can move above walls, which hopefully will feel okay for a boss that is basically just a giant glitchy swirl. Like if a giant glitchy swirl can move through walls, I think that is acceptable. And then it can just reposition itself every now and then, and that way hopefully we can force the player to move around quite a bit as well in this level. Probably just get rid of this one then. Let's remove that. Boo! Okay, once again, we'll probably just code this with some placeholder graphics. I'm open for suggestions. Once we've got the basics down, I'm very keen on implementing your ideas into this as well, if you've got any. But for now, let's see like how this looks in general. Here, let's give the players a lot of platforms to maneuver around on. Oh my god, which layer am I on? Oh no, I'm on. This always happens. I need to put them on the wall layer, and now they're all misplaced. Okay, whatever, let's do it again. I don't even care. Are you all doing well? Actually, I've been playing your games this week, right? I'm making a Jonas Plays Your Games video this week. And I've already played 2 games. We'll play some more tomorrow. And I honestly, I got more suggestions, more entries than ever. I got like 100 mails from you with games you want me to play, which is pretty insane. Like, I definitely thank you for it. I'm feeling very humbled that you want me to play your games. I hope I can do them justice. Because there's some pretty awesome stuff that gets sent my way. But of course, I'll play the crappy stuff as well. I'll just pick stuff randomly. Like, I feel like that's the fairest way to choose games. Okay, like, what do you think about this level layout? Does it look nice? Yes, it does. Thank you very much. Okay. Seems cool to see other people developing while you develop. Yeah, I'm glad you feel that way. I'm pretty much doing this to feel less lonely as well. Like, developing games feels a bit lonely at times when you have nobody around who does the same thing and that who understands the struggles you're going through. So I definitely get that. Is it cool to send in a multiplayer game? Well, it's a little tricky for me to play multiplayer games because usually when I'm recording these videos, I'm here alone, so I don't really have anybody to play these games with. But what you can always do, what always works, is sending me a video of you playing the game or of somebody playing the game. I feel like I can still give some good feedback based on that. And otherwise, I mean, I can try playing a multiplayer game alone, but usually that doesn't work out too great. Good question. Okay, I feel like this should allow for quite a bit of maneuverability. Looks nice to me. Perhaps we can make this corner look a little different than in the level before. That feels a bit too recognizable still. All right, let's actually get the boss going with an awesome placeholder graphic. Let's see how big we want the boss to be. Spur final boss. I'm not sure, should I call this phase 2? Because I'm not sure if I'll implement a third phase as well. But if I implement a third phase, that will go in between. I guess in that case, I'll just call it phase 1.5 or whatever. Let's call this phase 2. And then we need a nice color swirl in the style of Will You Snail. I'm kind of curious how we'll do that, but we'll, as I said, we'll not worry about the graphical implementation of this too much right now. Well, like a decent way of going about it is just doing it somewhat like this, and then just creating a nice swirl here. Perhaps even with a couple of different colors. Yeah, okay, something like this. Let's just go with this for now. Close these scripts here. And then let's create the second boss. Object, boss, phase 2. I will give it the sprite here and put it into the room. And then the first interesting question is, of course, how will people fight this boss? I feel like we should probably give it a little bit of a new interesting mechanic. And the way this boss moves around could probably be just by teleportation or by glitching through the level somehow. As the last one is already that kind of follows you directly. I want this one to feel a little bit different. So let's just make that one teleport. Okay. So perhaps the first attack it could have is one where it teleports towards you. Maybe that would work. Okay, well, let's first of all, let's check out how this actually looks in game to get a little bit of a feel for what we could do. And then I'm open for suggestions if you have any ideas. I should probably read chat a bit more to see what you guys are thinking. You would go for lighter colors. As I've said, this is a placeholder. Plus, in-game it always looks a lot different due to the post-processing. I feel like for a placeholder, this feels fine. Gives us a rough outline for how big the boss will be, and I feel like this is a reasonable size for the boss as well. Alright. And then let's not forget that the face of the AI will probably be somewhat on top of that swirl once again. Okie dokie dokie. Let's just get started. Why not, right? Let's check the collider of this real quick. Ellipse, yeah, that looks about right. Usually it's just sensible to make it a little bit smaller than it looks, just to be sure you don't get killed unfairly. Somewhat like this. Then perhaps I can copy a little bit of the base structure here from boss 1. Copy these lines of code right here. Let's actually just copy everything. And it starts out with attack pattern 0. And then all of this difficulty balancing will come once the level is done. So all we need for now is HP and HP max. And then for maximum efficiency, let's just copy this here as well and delete everything we don't need. Yip, 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 bip, bip. Probably remove this analytics stuff here. As the game does not end here anymore. So far from what I can tell, none of the playtesters managed to make it through the game yet. Remember to like this video. Thanks, I'm a guy. That is obviously very important. But what's even more important is that you go wishlist not Islanders. It's already too late for that. That you go wishlist Will You Snail on Steam. That would be highly appreciated. Link to that should be in the description. You wishlist already? Oh, thank you very much, cringy cookie. Here, you get a cookie. Thanks. You're currently learning C++, which is much harder than C#. Yeah, I've heard that. It might be cool to have bullet things come from the outside of the map towards the boss. Oh, that's interesting. Like a boss that shoots projectiles but in reverse, where the projectiles are not coming from the boss but towards the boss. Like, I like that. That's a really good idea. Let's do that. You'll wishlist Islanders? No! No. How much money? Well, that depends. Like, I'll get some feedback on that from playtesters, I guess. Oh no, what did I do here? I just messed up my code while switching between screens. Yeah, so price point is not really set into stone yet, but it will be around $10. Maybe a little above, maybe a little below. Something along those lines. You need to subscribe to Jonas because he can't subscribe to himself. Yeah, I've heard that people are way more likely to do something when you give them a reason, even if it's a really dumb reason. 5 to 10 euros, I think, Jaleco. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. It'll probably start a little bit more expensive and then I'll just make it cheaper over time or run heavier and heavier discounts, you know, the usual Steam thing that people do. Sorry, where did we stop with that boss? That's the problem when I start reading chat, is that I get really confused what I was doing. Don't need that here, and all we need is this switch thing over here. Okay, so what this attack pattern will do is, for now, it will just go to the same attack pattern again, because there's only one attack pattern, and this attack pattern will be called teleport towards player. And then when the pattern has been active for, let's say, 1 second, then it will save the player position somehow. X jump, or jump to X is equals object player.x jump to Y equals object player.y. And then after 2 seconds, or perhaps you should give the player a little more time, it will teleport towards that position. And then we'll set that to -1, which will just be the default parameters we'll set at the beginning. Here we go. And before that, we'll say x equals jump to x and y equals jump to y. Okay. Now the first attack pattern should already be complete. See, once again, that's nice about GML, like implementing stuff is really, really fast. Will you release part 3 of how to make a game? Yes, that has definitely been on my to-do list for quite a while now. Okay, so this is a little bit confusing when we don't know where it's about to teleport towards, so let's make it just portray that somehow. Problem is just there have been a lot of videos on my to-do list for a while now. Like there are a couple of planned collaborations and stuff like that, so I'll see when I can squeeze the tutorial in, the Unity tutorial. The trailer you made is beautiful. Darky Lightboy, thank you very much. I think there's still a lot of room for improvement, but luckily there's also still a lot of time for improvements. Just need to make sure that I don't forget about the Steam page and actually keep working on that as well. Ist gleich equals. Yeah, that's a little bit of German slipped in there. I'm sorry, happens sometimes. Draw. So first thing we need to do in draw is draw self. And then if jump to X is not -1, then we can also do draw sprite xt sprite image sprite index is of course what I meant. Sprite index image index. And then we'll just draw the same sprite again at the jump to position where it will teleport towards, so the player gets a little bit of a heads up. Jump to X, jump to Y, then X scale of that image X scale, image Y scale, image angle, image blend, and then the alpha is the only thing that I'll reduce. So you can see what the real boss is. And then we can still make that a little bit nicer later on, but for now this should do. Where's Walter? Jonas? Oh, I made myself invisible. Here. Sorry. I'm a true professional, as you can see. Okay, and now you can see where it will teleport towards. Very nice. I like it. Okay, first of all, let's make sure touching this boss actually kills us, otherwise it's a little bit hard to test how hard this already is. Or maybe it's a little bit easier to test, I'm not sure. Last time we had the problem that the boss after a while got so hard that we couldn't really test it anymore because I couldn't get to the point that I wanted to test. That was a little bit annoying. Here, when we collide with the second boss, it will destroy us. And of course, at the moment, this attack is a little bit lame, like pretty easy to dodge. Let's make it a bit harder. And then the thing we will probably do next is the projectiles shooting towards the boss. And then, of course, we still have to come up with a way you can actually destroy the boss, because should we use the same guns again? That I feel like that would be a little bit boring. Should I either make a new gun or come up with something else that destroys the boss? It looks so easy, yeah. Make it teleport faster, yeah. That's exactly what I'm doing here. It will do that in a more quick succession, blah blah. I can't English. What's the red thing on your head? Who knows? Will we ever find out? Or will it stay a secret forever? Oh, yeah, like, okay. That is a problem. Oopsie doopsie. Boss phase 2. Now the boss should respawn correctly. Easy. Is it still easy? I'm not sure. Ah!
Your opening bracket, not closing bracket, making humanity proud XD.
Lol. Come on. Oh, is that actually the case for the other boss as well? We need to fix that. That's probably not the case for the other boss. Y scale. And the boss image Y scale is the Y scale we saved. Here we go. Now, will it finally respawn correctly? I certainly hope so. Hey Jonas, I tried your demo. I really liked it, but the AI talking was a bit too long. Every time you finish a level, you have to wait and hear its annoying robotic voices that you can't skip. Yeah, that is definitely I'll do something I'll do in the final game as well, is that the voice lines will almost never interrupt the gameplay. I 100% agree that that is a bit annoying. Oh, jeez. Now the teleports are already a little bit harder to dodge. Perhaps a little bit too hard. So let's just make the teleport start a lot sooner. But then it can repeat the pattern more quickly. I feel like that would be fair. Game maker language, a very creative language for a programming language. Yeah, that's true.
Humans great again.
Oh, the teleportation attack feels quite powerful now.
Absolutely desperate.
Okay, let's give it another attack pattern. That's why you don't put water under your table. Oh, jeez. I knew there was a reason why I put it over there. Damn it. Oh no. Okay, could be worse. Luckily, no water landed on my technology thingies, but that's still... Oh no. That is still no good. Oh no, no. Are you going to release on Mac? I'm not sure. I am not sure. I probably release on Windows, and then depending on the amount of downloads I get, I'll decide if I release it on Mac. Oh, the stream has quite a bit of delay. I'm just seeing your responses. Oof. Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. If the stream is suddenly shutting down now, you know, I'm. What's the reason? Experiencing some technical difficulties. A quick way to clean the floor. Oh no, yeah, actually some of the water is starting to drip on the floor. I have to fix that real quick. Give me 1 sec. Oof, okay, I cleaned up a little bit. That is a lot of damage. we can wait. Yeah, I can see that. Did I hear Deutsch? Oh, sorry, did I talk German again? Alrighty, we're back. We're back. And I'm out of water. I just wanted to grab my water to drink something. Why is my glass of water suddenly empty? Nobody knows. Second attack pattern. Let's get going. We don't have the entire day. We've already wasted too much time on useless stuff. Attack pattern 1, teleport towards player. Here we go. Attack pattern 1. Shoot yourself. Oh, I mean, that sounds wrong. Demonetized. Fire projectiles towards yourself. That's what I meant to say. And after this pattern, we go to da-da-da. Now they should alternate between each other, those two patterns. And then the question is, can we just use the bad balls again for this? Now, it's probably better if we create a new projectile type for this exact purpose. object fire towards yourself boss thingy. Let's see what I've used here. Ah, sprite snowball, what the hell? Because these projectiles here look kind of cool. I will just duplicate them here. Let's do that. That's pretty smarter. Object add ball boss P2 P2 meaning we can delete this one right here, and then we need to tell the player that you can't touch them. Duplicate event, as if there weren't enough things that can destroy you already. But there are never enough things that can destroy you. You can always make more. Simon TDD. Hey, how's it going, Jonas? It's going very, very fine, except for the fact that I just involuntarily cleaned my floor with with water. And when can I download the Will You Snail soundtrack? That's a very good question. When it's done, I mean, it's still lacking a lot of tracks. For example, the boss fight music is not part of the original soundtrack. That's just a placeholder for now from the YouTube music library. Why am I using GameMaker? Because GameMaker has better 2D. Yeah, that's the reason why I started this project in GameMaker. However, with some regrets here and there, definitely. Okay. So now these projectiles should destroy us. Now we can just tell them to go towards the boss. X, Y, object boss, p2.x, subject boss, p2.y. So this attack pattern will probably last a little bit longer. Perhaps 5 seconds or something like that. And then after 1 second, we can spawn all of the projectiles. Coding a boss like this is pretty comfy. Instance create on layer. Okay, that's something we'll have to change in a sec. Layer spikes. That ball was P2. And I want to spawn multiple of those, so let's just loop through a loop. A loop-de-loop. I equals 0, and if I is smaller than... How many should we do? 50. Then we'll add something on top of that. Okay, now we should be able to set the projectile position, which we could also do here, but I just feel like it's a little cleaner if we do it like this. Projectile.x equals, or plus equals length dir x. Length will be, like, how big is the level? That's probably what we need to use as the length. Okay, 3000. Let's use 3000 then. Okay. Whatever. And then for the direction, we'll use okay, need to set up a new variable here for the maximum amount of projectiles. Projectile count equals 50. Okay. That looks right to me. Now, of course, this should not be destroyed when it's outside the room. This should be destroyed when it collides with the boss. Yeah. All right. Let's see if it works. I have my doubts. Because do they actually set their speed themselves? These projectiles? No. Okay, so we need to set their speed. See, that could have messed things up. Projectile.speed equals 10. At the very least. Are you going to release on Switch? Once again, I think this is one of those cases where I'll just release on Windows first, and then depending on how well it sells, I'll see where I go from there. But once again, this would probably be a nice game for Switch. I can see that as well. You're developing a mobile game, Alper. Good luck with that. Like, I mean, developing mobile games is definitely a very cool and fun project. Oh. Oh yeah, they should probably reset themselves. Other than that, I really like that attack pattern. I also feel like these attack patterns go well together because first the AI comes very close, and then this ring that closes in on you is definitely something where you don't want to be close to the AI, so you need to make sure you get further away. What we definitely need to do is we need to reset those projectiles when the room restarts. Room control, room reset with object, bad ball, P2 do instance destroy. Problem solved. Yes. Launch it. Don't ask me that. Oh, I could have ticked don't ask again. My own stupidity is at fault, as always.
Did you do that on purpose? Certainly looked like it.
Just takes a little bit too long for this ring to appear after the teleport. What if we actually make this part of the previous attack pattern? I feel like that makes sense. Because then we can spawn that a lot sooner. So just one attack pattern for now, and then here the moment we set this, we'll also spawn all of these projectiles. And not at the own position, but at the position this will teleport towards. Yeah, and then we can just remove this. And this should be a bit more streamlined with less downtime now, I hope. Oh, wait a second. Oh no, this ends. Does this end too quickly? Oh. Oh, this will be brutal. Oh, this will be brutal. Yeah, no, this doesn't work. There needs to be more time in between than now. Hey, I should not try to pronounce your name. Oh my god. First game dev live stream. Well, the first one you're catching, you mean? Because this already number 77 on this channel. That looks really hard. Yeah, that's because it's not working as intended. Oh my god. Okay. We already managed to reach the typical Jonas Impossible difficulty that we were all looking for. Perfect. What do we do about this? Yeah, let's give it a bit more downtime. Perhaps this time we can do it the other way around. We start balancing this boss a little bit easier. Sorry, that was a wrong S again. Easier. And then we'll make it harder once the boss is done. Yeah. I also feel like if we combine these two, we don't even need to spawn the projectiles this far away. 2000 is probably enough if we do it like this. And then we can make them a little slower again. Let's not get stuck on tweaking parameters for too long. I know this is not interesting. Let's keep implementing new stuff. Oh, why did those have such a weird shape? Ooh, the first wave of incoming projectiles has a really strange shape. Oh, that once again had a really strange shape. Something seems to be off there. That's strange. Why is it not? It should be a circle, right? Why is it not a circle? Because yeah, I mean, okay, it makes sense. I mean, it teleports. Dang it. Okay, then we have to do a little change here. If object boss e2 dot, like, how's that variable called? This is pretty hacky, but who cares? Like, as long as it works. Jump to x. That is -1. Then we'll move towards that position instead. Yeah, now it should be a circle. Okay, so as I've said, the next questions are how do you defeat the boss and... Oh my god, I made myself invisible again. I'm sorry. Keeps happening. How did you make the glowing outlines of the walls? Can you show the code? It's pretty much just a bloom effect, so basically the way you can imagine it is... Oh. This is not right. What am I doing? As of that, it's pretty much you just blur the image, use that as an overlay, as a transparent overlay, and then you increase the contrast of the entire image, and that gives you this nice glow effect. That's pretty much all you need to do. Of course, I did that in a shader. If you're interested, I can definitely show you the shader code. That helps you out. Okay, now we have nice circles. Very cool. Okay, this is actually pretty easy, but I mean, making this harder, once again, quite a simple thing to do, which let's not make it any harder than this. At the very least, we can playtest it. Next up, let's just give this boss an HP bar and let's invent a way to defeat it, because that is definitely necessary for a good boss. We need a way to defeat it. Otherwise, why would you fight it? Here we go. Let's just copy that. Draw boss HP. HP divided by HP max. Now the boss should have health bar. And now we have a couple of different options. Like how could you possibly defeat the boss? I'm wondering. Do you have any ideas? At the moment there are 3 guns. One that allows you to shoot upwards, one that allows you to shoot sideways, and one that allows you to shoot downwards. So I'm wondering, what if we implement a new gun that works like in Archero, that just fires towards the nearest enemy when you stop moving? I feel like that would be a nice mechanic for this boss fight, because it allows you to move around very freely. You don't need to stand below or next or above the boss. You can just move wherever you want. Maybe you could beat it by doing something. Yeah, that's another idea. You could just have maybe some static cannons placed in the level that you need to activate or something. Something that encourages you to move around even more. Question is that as satisfying as shooting the boss yourself? That's what I'm wondering about. I'm not sure if... if in the first phase of the boss fight you get to shoot the boss yourself, and then in the second boss fight you just need to collect certain checkpoints on the map to attack the boss. I'm not sure if that feels like an increase in intensity, or if that feels like getting more boring in the second phase. You should make it so you need to position the boss in a spot to damage it. That is actually a pretty smart idea. If the boss teleports towards you, then perhaps you need to make it teleport towards a certain position where you can damage it. That is a cool idea. The only thing I would be wondering about here is like how would we communicate that? Like, what damages a giant swirl of colors? A weird anti-vortex. I feel like that will be very, very hard to communicate to the player. What if the boss's bullets hurt him if they don't hit you? Yeah, once again, that's a good idea. When he shoots himself, he could just lose some HP and then it basically turns into a just wait the boss out boss fight, where you just have to survive for X amount of time in order to win. And I've heard from a lot of people, I personally don't really mind boss fights like that, but I've heard from a lot of people that they prefer to defeat the boss actively with their own action instead of having the boss destroy itself. And I can definitely see where those people are coming from. I feel like it shouldn't feel too passive. It should definitely feel like you're doing something to defeat the boss. After every phase, the boss uses a certain attack that damages the terrain, which reveals some circuits. Once you destroy all circuits after phase, you win. Yeah, not bad. Once again, the main issue I'm wondering about here is like, I need to stop saying like in completely random places, is how do we communicate that to the player? Suddenly, I mean, these circuits have never appeared in the game ever before. How are players supposed to understand that they're suddenly... How are they supposed to understand they're supposed to destroy these circuits? These communicational difficulties are a little bit tricky for, especially when it's such an abstract boss, right? If you have maybe like a robot as an enemy, then you'd understand, okay, you can defeat it by pouring water on it or with some sort of electricity. But like if you have an abstract swirl of colors, it is very difficult to communicate stuff like that. That is a flute, yeah. Oh yeah, you figured it out. 10 points for you. 10 points for Gryffindor. Maybe you counterattack with something. You get a random gun every few seconds. A button on the boss and you have to jump on the button. Maybe it reveals his core for a while and you can damage him. Oh yeah, I feel like that would be something people would understand. Simply because you have probably seen that in a lot of other games before where the boss suddenly becomes vulnerable. The player could drop bombs that explode. Yeah. And that's another question I'm wondering about. Is it smart to introduce a new mechanic just for the boss fight? Is it smart to introduce a new gun just for the boss fight? I feel like probably not speaking anything big against that, right? If it's a weapon that's easy to understand, like every time you jump you drop a bomb or something like that, then it could be done for sure. Let's make a few different battles and test them. Yeah, that's probably, if we can't decide for something, we should probably just experiment and try something. But at the very least, we could make an educated guess now for which solution could work. What about the boss getting crazy and attack you with a rain of bullets at very high speed while standing at the center of the level? Is that an idea for an attack? Ah, okay, where the boss overcharges itself and then damages itself. Once again, that would feel a little more passive than the boss fight before. It'd be nice if the player could actively destroy the boss in some way. A third phase which looks hard but is easy peasy. That could be funny. I'll keep that in mind. Any way you can implement other mechanics from the game to damage the boss? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I can't come up with any because so far they're just 3 weapons and then damaging the boss with... I also don't know if there are any enemies in the game that could damage the boss. Not sure. Will You Snail? Yes. That is right. Ah, you have those levels where you connect multiple points together. Oh. That could actually be quite a smart move, combining that with the puzzle mechanic. Should we see how that feels? I feel like that would be like a surprising twist because so far the puzzle levels and the... Sorry, my brain went AFK. The puzzle levels and the action levels were very separate so far. So this could be interesting, bringing them together in one level. That would be a surprising twist for the final boss. I feel like we should try that. Let's try that. Let's see if it works and is fun. So we'd have something like puzzles. Hmm. Let's see how that feels. Can we see it? Oh, you can't see. Oh. I'm such a beginner streamer. I'm sorry. Well, you'll get the full surprise now for what I just did. Here, I implemented the puzzle mechanic into the boss fight. Oh, it doesn't get reset when the level restart. Whatever. So how about that? You need to connect these lines here. I feel like the main problem with that at the moment is that this creates a lot of visual clutter on the screen. It's very hard to focus on the boss and on the projectiles now. Yeah, it was a good idea. Unfortunately, I don't feel like it works all that well. Mostly due to the visuals. Which is of course something that maybe we could fix, but would also be a little tricky. Look at chat. Yeah, sorry. I already looked at chat. There's a little bit of stream delay always. Professional streamer. Welcome to Jonas Stare at one point in full screen. How many wishlists does the game have at the moment? Not a lot, you know, but I have some time to build up wishlists. I have over half a year now to build up wishlists. So I assume at the moment it's probably around 200 would be a guess. I haven't looked it up, but that's my assumption. Something like 200 wishlists. Which is not a lot, but it's better than nothing, right? I go inside the boss. Didn't we have a couple of good ideas earlier already? Unfortunately, I didn't write them down, because now we could just pick the best one. Will you make the boss blue screen if it got defeated? Okay. Okay. Not a bad idea. Let's do that. If I remember to do it. But I should be able to remember. A little bit of brain is still remaining. Work with blocks disappearing or something like that. What would be the advantage of that? Because I want the player to be able to move around a lot. Taking away blocks would limit the player's movement. I'm not exactly seeing the benefit for that, except for the fact that, yeah, a changing level would be cool. It just doesn't solve the problem we're trying to solve right now, which is how do you defeat the boss without it feeling too underwhelming. I feel like we should probably try the Archero approach, where you get a new gun that fires towards the boss automatically, no matter where you're standing. Let's just try that real quick, okay, and see how it works. Then you can still tell me that I'm wrong or right. Here, let's call it gun number 4. We'll just have the same sprite, whatever, who cares. And then when the player collects that gun, don't worry, this won't take long, I hope. Duplicate the event when we collide with that gun. Where is it? Probably in mini games. Shooter, gun 4. We'll set equipped gun to 4. Okay, here's all of the gun code. Question is, do these projectiles allow for being rotated? I'm not sure. Let's see if we can somehow make this work. Point direction, X, Y, object, boss, e2.x, object, boss, e2.y. And then let's set itmerk.speed to 20. This is a little strange. Let's set this to 10. And this to 10. And let's just see what happens. I have absolutely no idea. Let's try it out. Where's that gun? Here. Let's put it in. And let's go. There are only one boss? No, there are multiple ones. Just the first two, there in total I think there are 5 boss fights in the game. I just have to rework 2 of them because 2 of them are really bad. The first 2. Why the hell are these shots disappearing the moment they appear? Are they too big? They might be too big. Oh, Okay, they definitely are too big. Yeah, I still use that variable name, itmerk. That's just because I'm used to naming it like that. Like, no, it's not a good name for the variable, of course. I know what it means. That's the most important thing. Okay. This is cool. Definitely encourages you to get line of sight with the enemy, because then you can shoot it. Let's make those projectiles a little bigger again, and let's actually add a requirement here. And that will be the requirement that if speed equals 0. That way we will only shoot when standing still. And then perhaps we can combine that, still combine that with some of your ideas, I hope. But first of all, let's see if it works. Your face, what's wrong with my face? I feel like I'm missing something. Let's do it the hacky way. Recap of what the player has done. What do you mean? Go inside the boss, then damage it. Your face was funny? Okay. Isn't my face always funny? Okay, the fact that it stops shooting when you don't move feels a bit weird. Let's just make it shoot all the time. And make sure that you can damage the enemy. And by the way, I haven't 100% decided on this approach yet. I'm still just testing this out. How did I do that in this boss? Oh, seems like I put that into the projectile. Okay. Oh no, here. I'm blind, sorry. Collision with mini games, shooter, projectile. Then we'll decrease our HP by 10 and destroy the projectile. And does this already draw its HP bar? Yes, it does. Okay. Interesting. I never noticed the HP bar. Is it already there? Is it really already there? Ah, the wall outline code at the end of the stream. Yes, I can show that at the end of the stream. Perhaps you can remind me. I have absolutely no problem with sharing that. Like, in a weird way, this still feels extremely passive. Not nearly as satisfying as I thought. Okay, yeah, I mean, I defeated it. It's at 0 HP. What do you think? Does that look satisfying? It kind of doesn't feel satisfying at the moment. There are so many walls that are blocking my projectiles. Perhaps my projectiles should go through walls, but if they go through walls, then we're once again at the point where it's just wait until the boss is dead. Quite a dilemma. Okay, different idea. What if we put a bunch of different guns into the level from the other 3 and you can decide yourself which one you want to use? Like, what if we put 1, 2 of those here, then some for shooting sidewards here, and some for shooting downwards at the top here. I wonder if that feels better. Which one is the parent? Yeah, this one is the parent. Don't despawn. That's a weird variable name, but I can't come up with a better one. I want those to stay there always. So if the player collects them. Just put that here. Oh my god, it's starting to get really hot in here. And I have no water to drink. I could lick it off the floor if I want. But I don't want to. Make a melee weapon. Oh. Problem with... Yeah, I guess it could work. If the melee weapon has a little bit larger range. If the melee weapon has very short range, then the problem is that the outline of this enemy is not very clearly defined and probably also will not be very clearly defined for the final graphics. Now I should be able to put this code in here. Don't despawn equals true. Which should make sure that we can collect these as often as we want. Will that solve all of our problems? We will see. Of course, using the same weapons or very similar mechanics to feed the second wave of the boss fight could feel a little underwhelming as well, right? Actually trickier than I thought. Do you speak German or English in real life? I speak German in real life mostly. But my English is... I feel like the longer I do YouTube, the better my English gets. counter-attack weapon. Ah, so you could perhaps also use the melee weapon as a counter-attack weapon. Also, one thing you have to keep in mind though is that there's no fire button, right? You control this game entirely with the arrow keys. Why do they still disappear? Let me guess, I implemented it the wrong way around. Yeah. Once again, I'll just make the boss a little bit easier to make it easier to test. Where's the boss? Mr. Boss. If I reveal game secrets in German, most of you won't understand. That is true. Well, of course, when collecting a weapon like this, it should probably disappear, at very least for a short while. I mean, yeah, this might be a reasonable way to go about it. At the very least, it gives you an additional choice. Choice is always good. Now you can choose which weapon you wanna use to attack the boss. And what's also interesting about this is that when you're standing at the bottom, the boss teleports towards the bottom, meaning that now you need to go somewhere upwards to attack it again, especially when the attack cycle gets a little longer. Meaning you won't be able to complete the entire level with just one weapon. Due to the teleport mechanic of the boss, you'll definitely have to switch weapons. So actually this isn't as bad as I thought. This is, yeah, this is nice. Not bad, not bad. Let's actually keep it like this for now. Oh no. I mean, okay, this is probably the best weapon and the best strategy. Yeah, definitely looks like it. Okay, now I found an exploit. Now I'm already second guessing this decision. Probably also a lot due to level design, because there's just nothing blocking those shots in the vertical direction. And in the other dimension, there are a lot of platforms blocking the shots. Ah, this is tricky. This is very tricky. I didn't expect it to become this tricky. Emergency meeting. I need ideas. I mean, you already gave me a lot of good ideas. I know. You didn't know that potatoes have social media? Well, now you know. I'm the best potato of them all. Did you know that a great YouTuber called Jonas is streaming right now? Really? Can I ask you a question? Yes, of course. Nerf the weapon? Or like, even if I make the horizontal weapon a lot weaker, it will still be the best weapon in this level. Once again, I want the player to move around and use all of the weapons. And for the upwards and the downwards weapon, that works quite well. However, for this vertical weapon, we have a little bit of a problem. Maybe we should try removing the vertical weapon then. Which, yes, limits your decisions a little bit. That's a shame. But perhaps it works then. Ah, once again, sorry. Professional YouTuber at work again. Keeps happening every single time. I presume you're suggesting that you can deflect bullets by standing still. That sounds like a very simple way to deflect bullets. That means all you have to do is stand still and you kill the boss. Also, how do you communicate the fact that you can deflect bullets by standing still? Oh, what happened here? Hopefully that was everything I broke. Maybe make some vertical walls. Yeah, that'd be a solution as well, I guess. Or perhaps you should just do it like we did in the last boss, that you're forced to use all 3 weapons after one another. But then again, that would feel like more of the same. It'd be really nice if this boss felt a little different. Make one of his attacks rotate the platform 90 degrees. There's a little... I mean, technically speaking, that's unfortunately a little bit tricky to do in Game Maker, and considering the way I set this up. Because I'm not using a physics engine or anything like that. Well, this once again has actually similar problems than the last one we did, where it makes a lot more sense to shoot it from the sides because there's rarely something blocking the view. Perhaps that is a question of level design. I mean, the level design is obviously something that's can be fixed quite quickly. Let's introduce a bit more verticality or more vertical lines. And then let's re-evaluate what works and what doesn't. This probably actually looks a bit more interesting anyway. Okay, here you go. That is a lot more vertical right here. Let's check it out. Game is looking good. Congrats. Thank you very much. Oh, make the boss gain health with the bullets, so the player... Oh, that's interesting as well. So whenever you shoot the boss, it gains health. That is an interesting idea. Yeah, I mean, these vertical lines definitely make the level a lot more interesting. No questions asked. This is, in terms of level design, this feels a lot nicer. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, this is way better. I also kind of like the shooting mechanic now. I know I change my mind on that every now and then. Like, what I like about it is that it feels new and novel. Like, it doesn't feel like the same thing again. When you've just played this level where you have to use the exact same weapons for a final boss fight where you really wanna do something cool and interesting, it feels like almost feels a little lazy to use the same weapons again. So I like it. Kinda like this approach. Oopsie doopsie. Pretty sure there are some abusable spots here as well. Okay, but at the very least this works. Like, this is something we can work with. There's a way to defeat the boss now. Hell, what else do we want? I'll take it. It's kind of fun. Feels fun. I like. Okay, so let's just continue with the attack patterns of the boss. just to make sure that there are no spots in the map that you can abuse, I would say we definitely need an attack pattern that makes sure the boss teleports to a random position as well every now and then. So what if attack pattern 1 is teleporting to a random position? Jump to, we'll just set that to a random position this time. Random room width. Random room height. Very surprising how much level design can do sometimes. This level design made such a big difference. And then after that time, the boss will teleport there. And then we'll go back to the other attack pattern. And then, of course, we need to combine this with some sort of attack. So when teleporting to a random position, which attack should the boss do? Yeah, don't show this messaging and just start the game. I think I should get some water or stop talking. You should make a gun that needs to charge for a long time and the charge is removed every time you collide with one of the bullets from the boss. I mean, but you die instantly in Will You Snail. You don't have HP or something. You just... I'm not entirely sure how you mean that. Thanks. Very different gameplay from Islanders. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Not as casual, unfortunately. But still fun. How many wishlists did you have before the release of Islanders? Like, I'm not sure on the exact numbers, but it was definitely more than 1,000. It was definitely, yeah, it was not a lot more than 1,000 either. I feel like it was something along those lines, but unfortunately I can't give you the correct numbers because I haven't looked it up. I don't know it. I forgot. I'm sorry. Should know stuff like that. Obviously, this will probably get a lot more satisfying when you get some proper feedback for hitting the boss. I feel like at the moment you don't really know if you hit the boss or not sometimes. And also with this gun, the boss definitely needs to have a lot more HP. I can already see that. Let's give it like 5,000. And then let's do some glitchy projectiles the boss can fire. Spur glitch. Glitchy projectile. These colors somehow remind me of Into the Spider-Verse. Okay, once again, let's fix the collision mask real quick. Can probably be a square, rectangle, but let's make it quite a bit smaller. Let's also say rectangle with rotation. Here we go. And then here in this second attack phase, I guess it'll just spawn a bunch of these projectiles. And then we can give those projectiles some interesting behaviors that look a little glitchy and fit the theme of the boss, hopefully. And we'll create object glitchy projectile. At the beginning, those can set their direction to random 360 and their speed to random 13. Let's see how this movement pattern looks. Every once in a while, we'll start speeding towards the player. Object player.x, object player.y, from position xy with speed 7 plus random 4 or something like that, and then we can give them a little bit of friction as well. D. Let's just see what happens. No idea. Hello there, Jonas. Can I ask how many wish lists you have? If you're really, really curious, we can look that up, but my assumption would be around 200. Which is not a lot, but that's also why I'm starting to promote this early, so I still have a lot of time to gather more. Oh my god, this this looks cool. Just probably a little bit impossible to beat once these things actually start destroying us. Yeah, not as many. Let's not spawn as many. Let's make sure you die when you touch them. Duplicate event when you collide with this. You die. And then when the room resets, we'll say with object and this object is called glitchy projectile. Do instance destroy. That is a lot of damage. Yes. Stay away from me, no. Okay, this is already starting to get quite tricky. These here are a little hard to see, I feel like, at the moment. Let's make them a little bigger. Image X scale equals to an image Y scale equals to. Any ideas for additional attack patterns? Because I feel like this one is almost close to completion. If you have any ideas for additional attack patterns, let me know. Do. Oh, and then of course an interesting question is, should you be able to shoot those enemies? The answer is probably yes. Oh! That one was quite fast. So let's just give this some sort of HP as well. HP equals 5. And then when we collide with minigames, shooter, projectile, we'll do HP -1. Other do instance destroy. And if HP is smaller or equal to 0, then instance destroy. HP 3 or something like that is probably enough. Should add an enemy that is a brain with tentacles in the boss fight. Make the boss suck up the player. Okay. And the player has to drop a bomb to damage him. Yeah. Could do that. However, I feel like there's already a somewhat fun way to damage the boss for now. Oh, that's a lot of these creeps. Perhaps they still have a bit too much HP. What if they have just 1 HP? Are they still hard to dodge then? Also, there's one of the attacks where the boss just stands around doing nothing for a very long time. Which is of course this year. Perhaps this one needs to be a bit shorter again. Help, I'll get nightmares tonight from the flying brain, or from what? You should make an ability that allows you to shoot through walls. A superpower. I mean a pickup that you can collect. Actually, that might be fun. You could spawn pickups in random positions in the level. And when you collect a pickup, your shots get a little bit stronger and go through walls or something like that. Actually sounds like a fun mechanic. Oh my god, there are so many of them! And I mean, they only have 1 HP anyway, right? 1 HP. Lol. Okay, so we need even fewer of those enemies. Apparently. For now. Since we're a snail, what about some sort of wall climbing mechanics? I'm afraid it's a little bit too late for that, as I'm already making the end of the game. But like, if I ever make Will You Snail 2, this is definitely something I'll try out. Like here, being able to walk up these walls is definitely a missed opportunity. You're totally right on that one. However, implementing that just for the final boss fight feels a little strange as well. Pew 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 pew. This is interesting as well, because you can't really decide in which direction you want to shoot him. Your gun just automatically shoots towards the boss. And I mean, that also tells you in which direction the boss is in, if you don't know. Definitely already somewhat interesting, I feel. Still lacking a couple of components, but this is a good beginning. Perhaps we should take a break and meditate about it a little bit. How long has the stream been already? Let's check. Oh, where can I see that? I have no idea. 2 hours, okay. Very nice. Yeah, I thought we would get a lot further with this boss today. Unfortunately, we didn't. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask now. It's always a little hard to look at the chat while coding something. Now I'll pay close attention to the chat. If you have any questions, if you want to see something like the wall shader, for example, let me know again now. I'll be reading chat for a while, and then I absolutely desperately need to get some water. It's so hot here, and I spilled my water all over my desk, which is not good. You have to go now. Bye. Okay, that's good timing. Wall outline code. Okay, I'll show you the wall outline code. there's a post-processing object. Where is that one? Here, post-processing draw. So this wall shader code is split into two parts. Here, of course, the normal game code and then the shader. This is the game code in the draw event, where I basically draw the entire game on a surface. Then for the sake of performance, I scale that surface down by the factor of 4. Then I apply a blur to it in the horizontal direction, then a blur in the vertical direction. So basically two passes on the blur to create a blur in two directions. Once again, not doing that in one pass for the sake of performance. This way you just need a couple of draw calls and the blur is much faster. Then what do we do here? Blur 3 and blur 4. Alright, that's for the high quality setting of the post-processing. There are 2 additional blurs. But if you're on the lower quality setting of the post-processing, then you only get the first 2 blurs. That's how that works. And then here I add the blurred image. So far what I did, I blurred the entire image, and here's where I add the entire blurred image on top of the current image, which gives it a nice glowy look, you know. Blur the image and then add the blurred image to the old image. Makes it look shiny. And as I've said, I can show you all of those shaders in a sec. I'm sorry if this is not super in detail, but like I feel like this is all I can do at the moment. So after we applied that blurred overlay, we need to color correct to get the contrast to where it was before, because adding the blurred image on top of the old image makes colors look a little bit washed out. So I'm using a custom color correct shader that just makes things look a little nicer. And then for some levels, I have some special effects here, like the underwater glitch where every level looks a little bit wavy. Yeah, this is actually just the color correct for underwater levels, and this is the color correct for glitchy levels. They all have a little bit different shaders, but normally in normal levels I just use a very simple color correct shader that basically increases the contrast. Okay, let's have a look at the shaders. Here's the blur shader. Or which blur shader do I actually use? Let me check real quick. Post processing. Okay, I use this blur shader. Alright. Blur shader looks like this. Oh my god, this has a surprising amount of draw calls. Do I really use this shader? Really? Nah. I use blur shader S. Okay. I was already wondering. Wait a sec. This is really strange. I set this shader, but then I set variables of a different shader. Okay, that is something I need to check. That is not how it's supposed to look. But who knows, maybe it still works as intended. Apparently it still works as intended. Yeah, this doesn't have as many draw calls. This has 7 draw calls. This looks more reasonable. Yeah, that's the blur shader in one direction. All the blur shader does, it reads the texture basically from 7 points and then averages them all. And that way you get a simple blur in one direction. If you repeat that process a couple of times, then you get a really nicely blurred image. And then for the color correction, at the end, I use this shader, which is not too complicated either. I don't know exactly what it does anymore because it's already been a while since I wrote it, but generally speaking, this just increases the contrast of the texture. Here you go. That's how I do the blur effect. I can show you once again in game how it looks with and without the blur. And then, sorry again, I said I will look at the chat. Now I was busy explaining something again. I'll once again have a look at the chat in a second. This is how it looks with post-processing. Then let's see. When we turn post-processing down to medium, this is basically where we increase the amount of blurs. Still looks very, very similar, but as you can see, it has some liney artifacts. When you look very, very closely, I'm not even sure if you can see that on stream, but it looks a little different. And then, of course, without post-processing, without post-processing, this is how it looks. Which is surprisingly unimpressive, right? Oh, I forgot to collect the gun. Yeah, let's turn it back on. Yeah, that's cool, right? So cool. Okay, let me read your questions. Why only 720p? Cause I'm scared the stream will crash if I put it any higher. My initial thought was I'd rather have a little lower resolution and have the stream not crash. I think that's a good trade-off. We could try streaming with full HD, but like the last time I tried it, it didn't work out that well. Did I already try streaming with full HD? I remember doing that, I might be mistaken. A wild creature exploding the world of coding. Jonas in his natural habitat. Oh, code and shaders, yeah, that's true. Do you think it's possible to make a game jam game with only simple game making knowledge? Of course. Like, you can definitely make a game. You just need to embrace your own restrictions. You need to be aware of what you can and can't do. For example, if you know how to make a couple of objects move around and make them destroy each other when they touch each other, then just make a game that's based entirely around that. Just gotta be a little creative with your possibilities, embrace your constraints, and then I think you can, even with very low-level game-making knowledge, you can still make a pretty great and fun game. I'm definitely convinced that is possible. Can you show the underwater shader too? Yes, I can do that. Let's go back into Jonas' natural habitat. This is how the underwater shader... Is that the underwater shader? Yeah, that's the underwater shader. Seems like here this is just the color correction. Seems like the underwater shader basically combines color correction and the underwater wavy effect, and then this up here is the underwater effect. Pretty much what the underwater effect does, it just offsets the read position of the texture. And that gives it a nice wavy look. When are you uploading I Will Play Your Game? This week. I've already recorded the first of your games, and the video will come out on Friday. You play an instrument, so let us hear. I play the piano. I can also play the flute a little bit. A little warning to all of the headphone wearers out there. I'm just putting that out there. Are you happy? Was that what you're looking for? Yeah. How you activate the shader? I mean, shaders are a big topic. I'm not sure if we can turn this this into a full shader tutorial. Well, in theory, activating a shader is not all that tricky. See, in theory, all you need to do is doing this here, shader set. And then when you want to deactivate the shader, you do shader reset. That's all you need to do to activate or deactivate a shader, more or less. Yeah. Might do a tutorial on that someday if people are interested. Why do you make English videos? The reason for that is that I think I can reach more people with English videos in the long run. Also, it is easier to it's easier to collaborate with other game dev channels because pretty much the entire indie game dev community speaks English, is English speaking, so that makes it a lot easier to collaborate with other creators and to make appearances on podcasts and stuff like that. Like it's just a little more fluent. It's not as awkward, and you don't have to speak to an English audience and say, "Oh, by the way, check out my German YouTube channel." Like this feels like it integrates a lot more nicely into the indie game development scene online. If that makes any sense. Could hear that all day long. Thank you. Should I do it again? Fan from India. Awesome. Thank you very much. India is one of those countries I definitely like to visit in my life. It's on my bucket list, visiting India. There's a surprising amount of Indian barber videos on YouTube, and they're actually quite interesting and enjoyable to watch. I've been diving into that rabbit hole for once. It's a pretty interesting niche on YouTube. What did I miss? I mean, we continued making the boss for a little bit, and now I'm taking a break. I have to reevaluate my decisions that we made today. I think we made some good progress. Let's see how this boss feels when it has a couple more attacks. Then it might be a bit more interesting. But it already plays quite well, honestly. I'm happy with what we managed to do. You understand? Okay. Glad to hear it. Is your dev team for Islanders all German? Yes. We're all from Germany. We've met at game school in Berlin, where we've studied game design together, and Islanders as well was a university project. We made that in university and then finished it after that in a total of 6 months, 4 months in university, and then another 2 months before launch. Hello, sir, from Scotland. Hey, thanks for stopping by. And you're from Germany too? Hi. Am I late? Yes, you're late. I'm about to go offline. I'm not sure. This was probably the only live stream for this week, but we'll return next week. Here are all of the things that need to be done for the game at the moment, and I feel like I can save finishing the boss fight for next week. There's still a lot more other things I can spend my time on in the meantime. Not to forget that I still need to finish the Jonas Plays Your Games videos, where I play your games. That will come out on Friday. Go and drink something. Yeah, I should definitely do that. My mouth is getting really dry. I'm late! I want to say thanks for all the videos. They've really helped me to get into game development. That is awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. You're getting into Unreal Engine 4 right now. I wanna do a video on that, like the one I did on Godot, where I try Unreal Engine. I think a video like that would be really fun. I've watched a few of your videos and appreciate the leap you've taken to get this up and running full time. I'm currently learning to code, design games, and your videos are inspiring. Thank you. I'm very happy to hear that. Like, I hope that from my videos you can tell that I generally want to help you. I generally want to provide value to other game developers. I might not be the most experienced game developer out there, but like what I do know, I'm absolutely willing to share. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I think this is a good point to finish it off. Don't forget, if you want to support me, then the easiest way to do so is to just go to Steam and wishlist Will You Snail real quick. That literally takes you 10 seconds. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you very, very soon. Looking forward to the video on Friday where I play your games. That is always very fun to record. Apparently also very fun to watch. So see you then. Bye bye, and have a nice day or evening or whatever time it is. Bye bye.